Hi everyone, I'm Cam.
And I'm Julie.
And we've gone caravanning. In today's video, we wanted to talk about the things we're going to pack when we go away on our next trip. Now from previous experience, there's some things that we learned that we absolutely love taking along with us, and we're going to make sure we pack them first. So what's first on the list, Julie?
The jump starter.
Okay, so yeah, the jump starter. So when we went away last time, we took away the itechworld JS80, and I might say we have no association with itechworld. This saved us
many times.
Yeah, a few times. Once in Denham, we had a flat battery. Once in Kimber, I remember. We started some other vehicles with us. And we also, on a couple of occasions where we were off-grid, ran our Starlink off a little 200-watt inverter for an hour and a half. So we did that on a couple of occasions as well, wasn't it? So it proved to be invaluable. What would happen is, it was usually on the travelling days, wasn't it? So we would go in somewhere, like when we went to Kimber, and we'd just go in to buy a cup of coffee. And Julie got sidetracked in one of those shops there, something 360 it was called. And she was in there for about an hour. So when we got back to the caravan, we hadn't unplugged the lead and had a flat battery. So within 60 seconds, we were going again. This is definitely one thing that...
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, and we're not going anywhere without it. It's a lifesaver.
And it's started the car when the battery was going low.
Yep, no, it's been very good. Yeah, wouldn't leave without it. What else, Julie? What else we got on the list there?
Extra battery.
Extra battery. Yeah, for us, we only carry... the caravan's only got one 120 amp deep cycle battery. So we found it's not enough for if we want to stay out, especially if we want to run the Starlink and do that kind of stuff. It was okay, you know, we can have the lights on and we can still have the telly at night, and it does that. But as soon as you try to do those extra things was when it really struggled. So so we are definitely putting in one more battery. I think another 120 amp one will be ample enough. And even if it's not wired into the caravan, we'll just have it as a second one in the car, so it can be changed over very easily if we need to, or just attach it by jumper leads if we had to, whatever. Yeah, we just didn't quite have enough power last time.
No. And then there's a folding solar panel or a blanket.
Yeah, the folding solar panel, we do have that, and it's a real lifesaver. We have the one up on the roof and it works fine, and even if we had... But when that sun's going down late in the afternoon and you've had a day where it's been cloudy and not much is happening, and we had this at Lucky Bay, and all of a sudden late in the afternoon the sun comes out, it's great to have that panel, and this happened on more than one occasion, that panel that you can angle down and point right at the sun directly, whereas the one on the roof you can't do that. So
it's like a little solar panel suitcase, isn't it?
Yeah, it worked really well. Or you could have the blanket as well. But definitely... just to get that late afternoon sun, yeah, it's a winner. Or even early morning sun where you can point it right at it. So, yeah, definitely worth it. And you can see the amps jump up straight away. The amps going in.
Yeah, the other thing, stone guard.
Stone guard, stone stomper, yeah, rock tamers.
Yeah.
This was something that we didn't have as well on the last trip.
Not that we like doing dirt roads, but you can't avoid them sometimes.
Yeah, we had no intention of doing dirt roads, but eventually you find them if you're going to do a big trip around Australia or something. You do find them.
And when you're going inland.
And we have quite a bit of stone damage.
Just a bit, yeah.
It's really only just paint damage underneath, and it's like the front of our step has no paint left on it at all.
But that can be painted up or
replaced. And we have a few chips in the front.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Yeah, so definitely be putting a stone stomper or a rock tamer on next time. We haven't done that yet, but that's something we'll be looking to do in the next couple of weeks before we head off on our next trip.
And phone service.
Phone service. One of the things we did find is Julie is with Optus, and I went with Telstra. And
not direct though, are we?
No, but we did that on purpose. And so when we went up to the middle of Australia,
that was pretty good actually.
You had the service.
Yeah.
Julie had Julie's Optus, all the way up through middle.
I think Optus network is stronger there.
Yeah, mainly at the towns. When you come into the towns or close to towns, she got service. I was with Telstra, not direct, as Julie says. I had nothing. But then when we come down through the top of Western Australia, it was the opposite, where I had service when we got to the towns, and Julie had nothing. So
we both had nothing for a while.
yeah. So I highly recommend that if you've got two phones, that you go one each. That way you sort of, at least you get to those towns or those fuel stops, roadhouses. Usually one of them can get service. It's either one or the other normally, isn't it? Yeah. So in those remote areas, so that was good. What's on the next?
And if you like coffee.
Yeah, what do we got there?
We had a coffee plunger.
Yeah, we wouldn't leave without our coffee plunger and our milk frother. So we don't have the coffee machine. We actually have just the milk frother, one of those cheap ones we got from Audi. And we run even in the caravan parks. Obviously, we're on the power. There's no problem.
Yeah, there's no problem. Yeah.
But we have a small inverter, 500 watt inverter that'll run that, and so we use the plunger in that, and certainly saves a lot of money on coffees, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And most of the places, if you find a nice coffee out somewhere, Julie just usually asks them, and what do they normally get you? Plunger friendly.
Oh, grounded coffee.
Yeah, they grind it for her, and we buy a bag and take it back. And
when we see one we like, we buy it.
Yeah, and that works pretty good. So what's next on the list?
The puncher kit.
The puncher kit, yeah. One of those things like the jump starter. We had 4 punches, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
We fixed 3 of them ourselves.
One was pretty bad.
With the puncher kit, and one had to be fixed by a proper tyre place.
It was like almost like a piece of glass went into it.
Yeah. So for a cheap $20 puncher kit or whatever they are these days, $25, so about that anyway, from Super Cheap Auto, something. Yeah, I wouldn't leave without one. That was good. That saved us a couple of times as well, didn't it? So,
yeah.
Yep, definitely a puncher kit.
And the fuel container was always great.
Fuel container, yeah. Like, I wouldn't leave without carrying extra fuel at any time. We have one 20 litre on the back. It's that peace of mind when you're doing those big K's in the middle of nowhere. So we drive an Isuzu MUX. It's only got a 65 litre tank, so we don't have a massive range we can do. So that's the peace of mind we have, knowing we have 20 litres of diesel on the back. But not only that, it's definitely times when you can save money, and where fuel you can buy 50 cents a litre cheaper if you can just get down the road another 100 kilometres. So, and we did that 3 or 4 times, didn't we?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely diesel, petrol, extra fuel. You need carry extra fuel. Get a container, carry some extra fuel. Wouldn't leave without it.
And we carried just 2 quilt covers.
Okay, well this is Julie's department.
Or quilts actually.
Yeah.
A winter one and a summer one.
Yeah, summer weight or winter weight, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're wool.
Yeah. So you find as you go around, so we started on the Central Coast of New South Wales and
with the summer wool quilt.
And then it got a bit cold down when we were around the York Peninsula on that, didn't it?
Yeah, and we changed to the winter one.
Yeah. And then we went up through the middle, changed back to the other one. And then when we came down the other side and got back down to Perth ways and heading down that way, again we changed again, didn't we?
So we didn't have to carry too much extra.
Yeah.
Like blankets.
So
we had one blanket, that was it.
It's in a container under the bed. It's just a small container. It sits in there and worth its weight in gold. If it gets a bit cold, you can switch them over and you're good till And
now you've got your different straps.
Yeah, straps. I have a few straps. I brought a couple in. So a variety of straps. Yeah. So we just have the normal kind of strap for strapping stuff on the roof racks and stuff like that. Some ratchet straps, mainly.
And cable ties.
And a variety of cable ties, and particularly some nice, big, strong, long ones, and we have a few of those. Mainly in case something like under the van happens, break our water tank strap or
Yeah, they're very strong.
or something like that, you could always, you know, get you out of trouble and get you to the next town or something. And I've seen a lot of that lately. We're part of a caravan site group and seen a lot of water tank straps getting broken. So quite amazing. So I wouldn't be leaving. And also in extra windy, put a couple of extra ties over the awning or something like that.
I mean, you just have to cut them and throw them away, but then you just keep a pack of them.
The cable tie, I just would not leave without some cable ties and a ratchet strap and a couple of different types of straps. Just a bit of a variety. No weight there really. It's just precaution.
I know there's Ken's favourite toy, the battery drill, and
the battery drill,
19mm socket.
Yeah. Look, when you're packing and unpacking, we were on the road for 10 months, and on the last trip, when you're packing and unpacking so much, winding your legs up and down with one of these is just the best thing since sliced bread. I can't believe I waited so long to get one.
Instead of manually trying to do it.
Absolutely. And the best part about that is then you can have a few other attachments as well. So we normally will take the blower one where you can blow the leaves out from out of the awning and stuff like that.
And the dust away.
The little vacuum cleaner. We only used it a few times, but we did use it. And and I did take a little battery operated chainsaw as well, which I didn't use, but yeah,
we weren't really chopping much wood, were we?
No, we didn't do that. Maybe on the next trip that we will do a little bit more of that.
When you're free camping, you do a bit of
that. The next trip was going to involve a lot more free camping and staying off grid a lot more. So we'll break that news in a few more weeks. But the next trip will be.
Then you've got the checklist.
Not so often in the thing. The checklist. I love the checklist. If you haven't got a checklist, it could be just an age thing, but when I've checked it off properly, and I do religiously checking it off, and when we did the last trip was the first time we used the checklist. When you drive out and you get down the road, it's such a peace of mind knowing that you checked it all.
Did everything and checked your list.
That you and I religiously do that now. Yeah. Not, did I put the catch down on the tow ball? Did I do this? Did I do that?
It's very important, isn't it?
Yeah. Or I have to pull over and pull the mirrors out because I haven't put the mirrors out. Or
put them in.
Whatever the situation is, I've made my checklist to what I do, and it sits in the back of the car. And so right at the very back. So when I'm hooking up, it's there. And I have two really. I have one that's just about hitching up and around, have I hooked up, have I done this and have I done that around the hitching area? And then I have another one which is a general one, have I put the tow mirrors out? Have I filled the tanks with water if we're staying off grid? Or it's just a more general one.
And turn the gas off?
Have turned the gas off, things like that. And it's so good to know that you have done those things when you're driving down the road. Julie has her own one in here. How's her eye? They're laminated. They're quite small, as you can see. They're not very big, and hers just pokes in a little in the window up there, doesn't it?
It's mainly for all inside.
And it's just all about closing the locks and the blinds and the TV and all that kind of stuff.
Aerial down.
And I've mentioned this a lot in our videos before. The TV, we never, ever, ever do one without doing the other. If we take our TV is above the door, when we pack up, it has to be taken off and put it on the bed. Yep. We don't take that TV off and put it on the bed unless we wind the aerial down, turn it off in the cupboard, and we have a Bluetooth speaker we use too as well. That gets put away in the cupboard, and we make sure that is all one job. Not I'll put the telly down and I'll do the aerial later. It's all one thing, isn't it?
I think we nearly drove off with the aerial up once.
Yeah. I can remember many years ago we did do it.
And make sure the cutlery door.
Not in this caravan, but we did do it in a motorhome we had up at Nelson's Bay, didn't we? Yep. Drove down the road and then we only went down the road and got out to get coffee.
And make sure your cutlery drawer is shut and your microwave plate is taken out and secured.
Yeah. We've never had any problems with the microwave plate, but we did see recently where the door must have been open. must have been shut properly on the microwave, and the plate
slid
was
out and smashed on the floor.
smashed all over the floor. So
Yeah.
we take ours, and it usually sits up in here. It's not there at the moment, but it actually sits up in this
In there, in that little
pocket,
pocket.
that leather pocket there.
Yeah.
All right, what else have we got there, Julie?
Well, your new addition.
Oh, this is number 14. Well, we haven't given numbers today. We were only going to do a dozen, but this is number 14. So we'll make this the last one for this time.
Yeah.
A diesel heater. We didn't have a diesel heater when we went away last time. So a couple of times where we could have stayed out and didn't stay out because we wanted, it was going to be cold, and we wanted to make sure we had the electricity and heater.
It can be freezing at Goulburn in the middle of winter.
And our next trip does involve, yeah, we're going to be away in some more colder climates. And inland.
Yeah.
And so we know it's going to be colder. So we have put in a diesel heater, and I did that last week. I was going to film it and we're going to put it up, but when I looked online, there's about 100 videos already on it, maybe 200. And so I watched half a dozen of them. And if you're thinking of putting one of the, we put the cheap Chinese one in. If you're thinking of putting one in, I recommend watching. There's half a dozen of them videos. They were good. And we got a few different, you get one idea out of one and something out of the other one. So we fitted the heater. It's all working nicely. We've got a shakedown trip coming up in a few days. So we'll, although it's pretty warm here at the moment, I don't think we'll get to run the heater.
We won't be using it, no. Yeah,
we might have to run the air conditioner for a few hours, so then we can run the heater. So
rubbish. Not going to do that.
Yeah.
You just have to wait for winter.
All right, so we'll leave it at that today. We just wanted, these are a few things that we found were really good when we went away on our long trip. And yeah, they're some of the things that will be first in the van and car when we leave this time. Of course, there's all the normal things, the plates and cups and cutlery and everything else. But these are just some of the things that we found to be very useful. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Very handy.
We'll see you in the next video. Cheerio.
Cheerio.